Have you ever imagined waking up with no alarm, no office, and no place you have to be? You open your eyes, stretch, and ask yourself one simple question: what should I do today? For almost 99% of human history, this was normal life. There were no jobs, no salaries, no bosses, and no deadlines. People didn't spend most of their lives working. Instead, they focused on getting food, spending time with family, and enjoying the world around them. Today, the average person spends tens of thousands of hours at work, but our ancient ancestors lived very differently. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups discovered something surprising. Adults often spent only around 15 to 20 hours a week collecting food or hunting. That's much less than the 40-hour work week many people have today. The rest of their time wasn't wasted. They talked, rested, explored, played with children, made tools, and created beautiful objects. Even ancient bones tell the same story. Early hunter-gatherers were often taller and healthier than the first farmers. Their skeletons show fewer signs of repetitive, hard labor, and their teeth were usually in better condition. But perhaps the strongest proof comes from the incredible things they left behind. Deep inside caves, archaeologists found paintings of horses, lions, and other animals that are over 30,000 years old. These were not simple drawings. They showed movement, detail, and artistic skill. Creating them must have taken hours of careful work. In other places, scientists discovered tiny shell beads with perfectly drilled holes. People walked long distances just to collect these shells and turn them into jewelry. They didn't need them to survive, they simply wanted to make something beautiful. They also found ancient musical instruments carved from bird bones. Imagine someone sitting by a fire thousands of years ago, carefully shaping a flute and playing music for friends and family. All of this tells us one important thing. Ancient humans were not busy every second trying to stay alive. When their basic needs were met, they spent time creating, learning, and enjoying life. So, what would an ordinary morning look like? You wake up as the sun rises. The fire from the night before is still warm. Everyone shares leftover food while talking about the day ahead. Maybe a small group decides to hunt or gather plants, but not everyone has to go. If enough food is already available, you might stay behind, repair a spear, weave a basket, or prepare animal hides. Nobody is forcing you to do it. There's no clock to watch and no manager checking your progress. You simply do it because being skilled helps your community and earns respect. And that's only the beginning of the day.
If a hunt takes place, it's usually nothing like the action scenes you see in movies. Ancient humans often relied on patience instead of speed. They tracked animals for long distances until the animal became exhausted, using teamwork and endurance rather than brute force. Once food was brought back to camp, everyone shared the meal. And after that, the busiest part of the day was often over. This is where ancient life becomes truly surprising. People relaxed. They sat together, laughed, told stories, looked after children, and strengthened friendships. Some made necklaces from shells or animal teeth. Others carved patterns into wood or stone, or simply rested under the open sky. Strong social bonds were essential. In a world without banks, supermarkets, or governments, your community was your safety net. If you were sick or unlucky during a hunt, the people around you helped you survive. That's why time spent with others was just as valuable as time spent finding food. As night fell, everyone gathered around the fire. During the day, conversations were practical, but after sunset, they changed completely. People shared myths, adventures, family history, funny moments, and stories that inspired the next generation. This may have been where human culture truly began. Then, around 10,000 years ago, everything started to change. Humans began farming and raising animals. At first, it seemed like a smart idea, but it came with a cost. Farming required constant planting, watering, harvesting, storing food, and protecting crops. As populations grew, people had to work even harder to feed everyone. Over time, villages became cities. Different professions appeared, followed by rulers, soldiers, merchants, and eventually the idea of full-time jobs. Slowly, human life became organized around schedules, responsibilities, and work. Today, many people spend most of their waking hours chasing success, money, or promotions. But for most of our species' history, life looked very different. Our ancestors had fewer possessions, yet they often had more free time. They made art because they enjoyed it, not because it paid well. They valued stories, relationships, and shared experiences as much as survival itself. In many ways, humans haven't changed, but the way we live has. We traded freedom for stability, leisure for productivity, and simple living for complex societies. The next time you feel trapped by deadlines and endless work, remember this. For thousands of generations, human life followed a completely different rhythm, one built around community, creativity, and time to simply exist.